guys, Torrie Mullins here, and welcome back to Torrie's story. So the next story I'm going to be telling you is about cockroaches. And here's the story. Each summer, my parents would load up the big Ford station wagon and take us kids to Brookfield Zoo, just outside of Chicago. Some of my favorite memories were made on those hot summer days. Busy sidewalks, smelly animals, parking lot picnics, and 30 cents would get you a souvenir from the mold a rama machine. I loved everything about the zoo, but my favorite had to be the reptile house. This place was a boy's dream, a massive stone building where some of the creepiest of creatures were separated from you by nothing more than a pane of glass. It was an old building, and it was dark inside, dark and humid. Tucked away in the shadows of a back corner stood a display full of giant cockroaches, easy to miss when there wasn't a crowd of people pushing to get close. Hundreds of these roaches were housed in tall display with concave glass not easily noticed at first, that allowed you to enter farther into the display than any normal people would like. It was a nice place for observing the various reactions of the human animal. It was also a great spot to give your sisters a push. If memory serves, those roaches were from Madagascar, and until recently, I couldn't understand why someone would choose to live in such a place. It started just like all of our other encounters with the wonderful animals God has placed here in New Guinea. With a scream, we'd been told to expect roaches, and we'd seen them in other houses, but we were beginning to think that perhaps we wouldn't have to worry about such things. Joan's scream confirmed that we were wrong about that. It was at the computer when Joan let me know that a rather large cockroach had greeted her in the hall. I think she was more mad than scared, because she offered to take care of this herself. Going to the cabinet under the sink, she armed herself a can of Bug Be Gone and marched off to war. She quickly retreated to share her analysis of the situation. Sweetie, it's fast, really fast. I didn't know they were that fast. Oh, and it's big and fast. You've got to do something. You've got to kill it. She tosses me the bug spray as a shiver goes down her spine. I knew she was serious by the way she was hopping from foot to foot. So with a sigh, I pushed away from the desk to take on my role as protector of the house. I found the roach just above the door to the boys' room, and since it was almost midnight, I thought it best to end this fight before it entered their bedroom. So I casually walked up and sprayed the roach, which was pretty big, by the way. She had that much right, but it didn't seem fast. In fact, it just sat there while I blasted it with a cloud of death. Stupid roach. I'm not sure what happened next. I've read that that the human mind has the incredible ability to block out overly traumatic events and thus protect itself from years of counseling fees. But I do remember a giant roach emerging from the fog, propelling on wings of pure evil, just as everything went into a matrix like super slow motion. I had the presence of mind to remember that Madagascar hissing cockroach can't fly, which made me sure of two things. One, this was not a Madagascar hissing cockroach, and two, Madagascar sounds pretty nice about right now. I lost ground walking backward, but continued to fire my can of death into the face of this kamikaze mutant bug while Joan and I both screamed. The cloud dispersed. I calmed down. Joan came back from the opposite corner of the room to inspect the damage. I didn't know they could fly, she said, putting her arm on my shoulder. I didn't know they could fly so far. Look how far back I walked away from the wall. That thing just kept coming, and he was coming right at me. You know, it's almost as if it's on you. Ah! Joan retreated back to her corner of the room, and I invented a frantic new dance. It's fun, actually. You swirl around yelling, "Where is it? Where is it?" while stripping down to your skivvies. Give it a try. My only suggestion would be closing the drapes, especially if your yelling has wakened the neighbors who, out of concern, have come to check on your well-being. So, long story short, we now know a bit more of the roaches were in PNG. Our neighbors probably think there are some weird things going on over here late at night. I've agreed not to bring up the fact that she completely left me on my own and ran away when there was a roach somewhere on my body. Joan has agreed not to talk about who screamed the loudest. And we've both agreed not to talk about the fact that we never did find that roach. The end. That's the story about cockroaches. So stay tuned where I do the next story. Bye, guys!